Sometimes when you're out in the woods, like I am here, you might try to find a water source to drink. Sometimes you might try to find a stream or a ravine. This one is an artificial one, as you can see. Sometimes this is completely filled in with water. At other times it's dry like this. But is it ever safe to drink? One of the things my students tend to know about me is that I travel to Iceland a lot, and what we have behind me is a waterfall called Skogafoss. And Skogafoss is glacier water that is melting off of the mountaintop down. It's almost 40 stories tall. And from that we get Icelandic glacier water, yay! And this is straight off the glacier. People in Iceland pride themselves on the fact that you can just drink the water from the streams that are there. Would we dare try that here? Clean drinking water is essential for survival, and yet sometimes that can be a difficult thing to come by. Sometimes in outdoor situations, and sometimes what will happen is you will have a boil order. We have that here in Bloomington, Indiana sometimes. So that's what I'm going to demonstrate for you today. But there are different ways in which you can filter water. I was talking to a friend of mine who's an Eagle Scout today, and we were talking about that. Boiling water is one of the ways we can do it. Another thing is called layered filtration, where you can have sand and gravel and charcoal and other kinds of things that will catch especially large particles and other kinds of impurities and some toxins that are in there. Boiling water, the first one that we're going to do today, is really good for killing bacteria, virus, parasites, other kinds of things like that. One of the things that we can also use is sort of called solar disinfection. You can use the sun's UV rays to filter out some things. You put something in clear plastic bottles or clear glass bottles, and it's energy efficient, it's low cost, and it's sort of an indirect way of doing things that way. You might even be thinking, is this safe to drink? You might also be thinking, why is he wearing his hat inside? I'm going to do a little bit of an experiment for you to show you some things that you can do in our sense of water filtration. What we would do is take a pot and fill it up with some water. In a typical boil order, we would be filling up pots of water like this, or using various pots and pans. Turn it on high so that it will boil quite a bit, and we'll wait. We don't want to watch it for too long because a watched pot never boils. But here we are. We see it's boiling, but we want to bring it to a full boil. One of the advantages of having this kind of coffee pot, teapot, or water pot is that it makes noise when it's done. It's done. It's ready. Yay! Once you have the water boiled, for a little extra protection, you could pour it through a cheesecloth, which is a certain type of cloth, maybe a little bit thicker with a different kind of fiber from a typical kind of hand cloth or washcloth. My grandmother always had one, and I have a couple of different ones that they have different designs. You can see they have farm animals on this one. I think there are farm animals on this one as well. See, my grandmother had well water, so in addition to boiling the water, she would pour it through the cheesecloth into a jar like so. Oh. You do it very slowly so that it seeps through and goes into the jar, but that would take out any particulates. The boiling is a very good process for taking out bacteria and other kinds of microbial contaminants, but the cheesecloth will take out any of the bulk. For my home use, I use this as my water filter, and the water filter is in here. You put the water in the top and it filters through to the bottom. Very simple. But how exactly is it filtered? Well, these are the cartridges that are used, and the cartridges are with activated carbon. All of this fine print on this side, which doesn't want to resolve, and this side talks about that is activated carbon fibers that are working on the water. If you want to be more sure of that, you could boil the water before putting it through the filtration system, and that would be a double security for you. When we are dealing with this kind of stuff, if you are out in nature, you might be actually building a campfire, or you could make leaves or bamboo or other kinds of things to make a container. Sounds sort of like Gilligan's Island or Lost, but there are different kinds of things that you can do. What you'll want to do usually if you're doing an absolute survival kind of thing is do more than one. Boil the water and then use something to filter it, just as I tried to do for you in my kitchen, the cheesecloth and the boiling. So water, again, for our conclusion. Clean water is important for life. How to purify it is an important thing. Whether we're boiling things or we're taking the layering process or we're getting it in sunlight, these kinds of simple filtration techniques can be useful.